So, hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mels Gaming, here with another incredibly special The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to record this video yesterday, so this actually technically happened a day ago at this point, but here on our new Rancho grind for Great One Mule Deer, we did have Great One Mule Deer number 3 end up spawning, and it is a completely new combo, a new rack, and a new fur type, and it is just so incredibly cool. Literally, he showed up 2 runs after I finished streaming. I did 2 runs. The first run after the stream, I got a level 5, and then the second run after the stream, this guy was there. And like, we did a fairly long stream, and for him to show up 2 runs after the stream was just so crazy. I couldn't believe it. And it is a fabled Cobweb Enigma fur with the rack that people refer to as the classic rack, because it reminds a lot of people of the non-tips from the Hunter Classic. And it's just an incredible looking deer. I actually, when I came around the corner, because of the lighting and where he was stood and the colours of his coat, I didn't, like, see him immediately. And then I put the binos up and then there was just this huge deer in front of me and I was like, oh my gosh, there's actually a great one stood there. And, you know, like I said, a completely different Great One Mule Deer to the other 2 we've had. Because the first 2 we had were both Dusky Drift, and the very first one had the Velvet Rack, and the second one had the Heart Rack. So this guy being Cobweb Enigma with the Classic Rack, it's just a completely new looking Great One Muley, and it is so, so cool. Like, that is an amazing looking buck. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get as much footage of this guy as maybe some of my other great ones, because he was just in a particularly difficult place to be able to approach due to the wind and also, like, the placement of, like, where the water is. But I did manage to get some pretty up-close footage of this guy, and I am really stoked with what I did get. And he is just so cool looking. The Cobweb Enigma wasn't necessarily one of my favourite furs, but it had started to grow on me the more I'd seen people post it. And actually seeing it in person, it does look really, really cool. Like, that is just an awesome looking deer. Like, yeah, it's completely fantasy, really, but it's just, to me, as someone who kind of enjoys those aspects, like, that's a really cool looking animal. And I was super stoked that I was going to be able to, you know, take him down and put him in my lodge. What a beautiful, beautiful buck. That rack is just insane, the size of it. Like, when we saw it in the teasers and everything, that, you know, it was obvious that this rack would be huge, but actually seeing it in game, the sheer size of it is just absolutely crazy. It is gigantic. Like, it's like the size almost of, like, his body on top of his head. And I couldn't decide whether I prefer the side profile or the front profile of this rack, because I do see, like, from the side profile, it does almost look like it has, like, paddles right at the front, which I guess is why some people thought when we saw the initial teaser that this, because this was the rack that was in that silhouetted teaser, that it was going to be like a Great One Caribou or something. Because yeah, when he turns completely sideways, I can kind of see what people mean, that it looked like it had those paddles right at the front. But I don't know. I don't know whether I prefer the sideways or the front. It's just, it's such a crazy looking rack. It really is distinct from anything else that's in the game. And of course that fur is as well. There's really nothing else like it. And this was the best moment of the entire 2 hours plus of stalking him and, you know, trying to get close and recording him and everything. This view, this close, was awesome. And I was just waiting for him to turn his head so I could get some pictures of him actually looking this way. What an incredible buck. And I did actually try to shoot him here. Like, after we take a close-up look at that gorgeous fur and those beautiful blue eyes and everything, I thought, oh, this would be an ideal time to actually try and take him. But when I shot, the shot hit the rock that we're actually led on. So we had, like, a false go at trying to take this guy down, which, oh, the panic when there was no reaction. But, yeah, thankfully it was just a complete miss. So we were able to, you know, basically wait and get him back in this zone again. And again, some weird bugs here happening with him going into the water and then, like, teleporting back out. Again, something that if you've played the game, you've probably seen a number of times with animals interacting, like, with the water. It can get a little bit buggy. And he kept doing that in this zone, and so I didn't want to shoot him in the water just in case something happened. And he was also, like, glitching there with, like, the rack separating from his body, which I've seen in other people's videos with, like, moose and all kinds of different things lately, like, on different terrain. So I was kind of just waiting for him to be stood down there and stood still before I was going to take any kind of shot, because with him glitching like that by the water, I was just really worried that somehow I'd shoot him and he'd glitch and then I wouldn't be able to claim him or something, which for me would just be literally the worst case scenario. So I knew he was alert here, and there actually I thought he got frozen by the water, but then he goes from alert to alarmed, so I decided, okay, it's go time, and as he stamps his foot there, we line up, we take the shot, and you can see his health was dropping really, really quickly, and thankfully he didn't go very far at all. He kind of ran in one direction, then ran the other direction, and then actually fell over and expired. But those beautiful blue eyes on, like, the white fur on the face just look so, so brilliant. And just all those tines. Like, it's a crazy looking rack. I'm not perhaps the biggest fan, as I mentioned, of, like, the spindly tines, but still insane looking. And I love the way that the pattern actually goes, like, all the way over. It's stunning. Picking him up, we see the medal, we hear the music. I say it every time. Until that moment, I'm always just feeling a little bit sick that something's going to have gone wrong. But we did actually manage to take this guy at 36 meters, well, just over 36 meters, 36.67, with the Frost 257. So, yeah. I'm really, really thrilled, honestly. Really thrilled. Like, this Rancho grind has been amazing already. Like, we went from a ski and all the struggles I was having on a ski with just deer not showing up and everything just being so weird, to coming over to Rancho and setting up during that stream, and then since then we've had 2 great ones here on Rancho. So now we're up to 3 great one mule deer, which there was such a big gap between the first great one mule deer and the second, and then there was like not even 24 hours between the third and the second and the third. Like, it was just crazy. Like, I was sat there like, oh gosh, yeah, technically this means that between our second and third Great One Mule Deer, it was less than a day. Like, we moved to Rancho, we got everything set up, and then boom, boom, 2 Great One Mule Deer that quick. And so, yeah, that's now 65 Great Ones total for me. And, yeah, we finally have, you know, not just 1, not just 2, but now 3 Great One Mule Deer. It's just absolutely crazy. I honestly can't believe it. And some of you may have seen my community post. I didn't do a whole lot of grinding last night. So, since this guy showed up, I've only done a few runs. Basically, a couple of weeks ago, I hurt my wrist. And me being me, I've been ignoring it. But today I woke up and it was unbearable, so I went to hospital, and it turns out that I've damaged the ligaments in my wrist, or a ligament in my wrist, and I'm now having to wear a splint, and basically, long story short, it's worse than having broken my wrist. So I'm in quite a bit of pain, and yesterday I just wasn't feeling good at all, and, you know, maybe that contributed to this wrist being so painful today, but anyway, regardless, I haven't done a whole lot of grinding since, so I'm really actually excited to you know, get back on the grind. Now I've got a support for my wrist to try and help keep the pain away a little bit and help it recover, and see what else we can get, because yeah, there's still so much I'd like to get for Great One Mule Deer. Obviously I'm still after that corkscrew rack, and I'd still really like the dripple drizzle fur and the Milky Way. So yeah, still plenty to go for. And I'd also really like to get the drop tine rack. So got my fingers crossed that as we keep going, that this trend will continue to happen with Rancho. And yeah, I'm just super excited to see what happens next. But that is going to be it for this video, so thank you so much for watching, and for all your support as always. Hopefully there'll be a stream either later today or tomorrow, depending on how I'm feeling, you know, and how much pain I'm in. So we'll see, but yeah, I'm definitely really excited to carry on and see what else happens, what happens next. Hopefully it keeps going like this. Hopefully it doesn't end up like a ski where everything just goes wrong. So yeah, huge fingers crossed. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video or stream. Thank you.